Tonight, we take another look at some awards contenders.
For once in my life, I have someone who needs me.
This is a conclave, it's not a war.
It is a war, and you have to commit to a side.
I know this might sound crazy. I don't want to alarm you. Do you remember a TV show we used to watch together? It was called
The Big O Big?
Yeah. Do you watch?
How does it feel? Turn it down!
Play loud!
Make some noise, BD.
And it's been missing for a while, but some tech talk comes back as a segment of the Biz Buzz. There's all that and more as cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is in. Greetings, salutations, another sundry affair. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. Got a lot of show for you tonight, but before we get started, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that now that the holidays are over, have you noticed this cold weather that has come in? Snowy, especially in our home base here. It's been that. Why not stay warm with an official Outtakes with Rex Real hoodie or sweatshirt? And I've got to let you know that they're on sale right now at the official Rex Real store. You can snuggle up nice. We got blankets there too. Check it out. It's the official Rex Real store. Keep you all nice and warm during these cold and blistery days. All right, let me grab my specs here so I can get into the reviews. I'll tell you right off the bat that this first review comes from Germany, and the foreign critics have really loved this movie. That is probably a good explanation why the Golden Globes are such a fiasco. They're made up primarily of foreign film critics, and the fact that they like this movie shows what their thinking is. The movie is a tale of past culture where women were only of value if they bore children. When Agnes, who is played by Anja Plaschke, marries a man who is not interested in her sexually, she connives various methods of becoming pregnant. None of them work. As the village and her husband's family begin to shun her, she becomes despondent and contemplates suicide. Now, starring with Anja is David Schneid, who is Wolf, her husband, and Maria Hofstadter, who plays the mother. For now, let's peel back those veils of time and head back to the early Cretaceous period. Check in with the nation's first and only prehistoric film critic. Here is Rex Real.
The central theme is the practice of suicide by proxy, a common event in 17th century Germany. Women, mostly, would commit a heinous crime and then immediately confess it so they could die but still save their souls. It was a perversion of Christian doctrine, and Kathy Stewart, who did the research for this film, wanted to demonstrate the absurdity of the praxis. She succeeds.
gefällt's dir denn?
Das ist schön. Hast du es gehört?
Was denn?
Es hat so schön knackst.
Agnes.
Hast du dich schon eingewählt? Ja. Jetzt schon.
Ja, Gott wird gefreut haben mit dir, wenn du den Makroessen riechst.
Wegen deiner Mutter.
Verstehst du mich?
Magst mich nicht. Ich fürchte mich tut's.
Jetzt geht es, wird schon.
Siehst du nicht, dass das aber blöder wird?
Die wird sich schon einfinden. Gibst du halt ein wenig Zeit?
Schatz hat uns der Herrgott geschickt.
Sag mal, Agnes, von wo hast denn du das Kind her? Jetzt stehst auf und ziehst dich an.
Die Morde ist in Teufelsboot.
Glaub ich dir. Bitte verstoß mich nicht.
Folks, I gotta tell you that the first Joker movie sucked dead donkey. I had no expectation that the second would be any better, but it did have Lady Gaga, and she's Italian, and Italians are exceptionally talented. So I did watch the movie for her, but even her aptitudes could not salvage this mess. Once again, for expert commentary, let's go back to the early Cretaceous and check in with Rex Reel.
Turning one of the DC canon's most nefarious criminals into a roaring musical is an idea so retarded it is any wonder that any producer agreed to do it. Hollywood's penchant for transforming evil characters into sympathetic, misunderstood angels is not working, and the practice should stop immediately.
2 years ago, the name Arthur Fleck hit Gotham like a hurricane.
The trial of the century.
They believe Arthur Fleck to be some kind of martyr. Well, he's not. There's a monster.
When you're smiling, when you're smiling,
when I first saw Joker, when I saw you,
the whole world smiles with you.
For once in my life, I didn't feel so alone anymore.
When you're laughing, oh, when you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. For once in my life, I have someone who needs me. How about you, Arthur? Do you still think you're a star? Showtime. The whole world smiles with you.
you can do anything you want.
The sun comes.
You're Joker.
Look around! Look at all these people!
Bring on.
I will no longer allow any of you
So stop your sighing.
to keep me down.
Be happy again.
I got the sneaking suspicion that we're not giving the people what they want.
It's okay, baby. Let's give the people what they want. Sing hallelujah. Come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day.
Rex does not pull punches. Hey, there's a whole lot more on the show waiting for you when Outtakes with Rex Reel continues right after this. You know, there are a lot of celebrities who branch off and go into businesses as a way of supplementing their careers once their stardom has begun to fade. Michael Knowles has done this. He is probably one of the nation's premier conservative talk radio hosts, and he's also started his own cigar company. And through a series of events, his cigars, Mayflower, are at House of Fairuza Barbershop and Cigar Lounge, located at the corner of South Park Road and Drake Road. When these things came and Sam got them down there, naturally I tried them out. Folks, I have to tell you, I had some favorite cigars before. These Mayflower cigars knock them right off of the shelf. There's two types. There's a Dawn, which is very, very light, and it's exceptionally good for those who might be starting out cigar smoking for the first time. Then there's Dusk, and this one's a little bit heavier, but very, very flavorful. They have fast become my favorite smoking choices, and if you go down there and see Sam and he hooks you up with them, I think they'll become yours as well. They're very hard to get in Pittsburgh, but House of Fairuza Cigar Lounge always has a cache for you. The House of Fairuza Cigar Lounge and Barbershop, located at the corner of Drake Road and South Park Road. Stop in and see Sam today. Welcome back to the show. Let's delve into the Biz Buzz. Well, I guess it's no secret now that Batman 2 has been pushed back an entire year. Well, if you listen to the pubs, they claim that the extra time is needed to allow James Gunn and Matt Reeves to present the best possible story. That's nonsense. Test screeners are abysmal for this movie, with most viewers claiming no desire to see the entire film after they watched brief segments of it. Could it have anything to do with a woke script? Or perhaps it's Robert Pattinson's lackluster portrayal of the Caped Crusader. It's a long time, folks. You know, there are an awful lot of fans out there who like Bob Dylan. And I got to say that some of my fans for this show have inquired about my take on A Complete Unknown, which is the biopic on Bob Dylan. Not watching it, people. The best thing that in my opinion, that Bob Dylan ever did was to write a song and then turn it over to Roger McGuinn and let the Byrds do it the right way. It would be nice if Tinseltown would make biopics of folks who maybe have passed. There's no reason, save for promoting a certain agenda, to produce a film on someone who is still alive. We had a veritable plethora of biopics on living people this year, most on black athletes, the plights of people of color, and those from our enemy nations suffering injustices. None are worth watching, and they did not pass my 30-minute test. Hey, some industry news for you. You know, I used to run this as a regular segment of the Biz Buzz, And some folks have made inquiries as to where it's been, and they missed it. So here you go. The digital age is making it easier for filmmakers, especially indie filmmakers, to compile compelling video by offering a plethora of digital assets in an online market. Fab is a one-stop shopping mall where filmmakers can buy, sell, and share digital assets. This is kind of an interesting idea, but naturally, there are various plans with a range of prices in order for you to access materials. Hey, audio giant Sennheiser released a 5th-generation Evolution wireless system. It's ideal for filmmaking and video projects. It's a fully digital UHF wireless mic system with high-level audio, portability, and a very user-friendly interface. And finally, Sony partnered with NVIDIA for a new line of reality displays. They enable 3D creative displays, providing real-time 3D and simulation capabilities without the need for VR headsets or special glasses. That's a big step. But obviously, this equipment is intended for projects with higher budgets. All right, let's get back to our review, shall we? Conclave is garnering accolades from the condescending critics of the two-lettered cities for end-of-the-year awards. They may have an agenda. The trade publications report primarily on the production design of Conclave, highlighting its light and camera work. For example, the white umbrella scene. Now, this is interesting because in this scene, it's raining, and all of the cardinals are going into the conclave, and they all have white umbrellas opened. So you get the contrast of the white with their red robes, and it's a very visually impressive scene. Trouble is, they didn't have enough people to fill all the cardinals to shoot that scene. So what they basically did was they took a small group and they filmed them in this section, and then another group, that same group over in this other section here, and they did that 5 different times. So what they in essence have are the same actors in different sections of the plaza, and then they piece them all together like a jigsaw puzzle. Hey, it works. The scene looks well. It's kind of fun stuff. I like when they get into that behind-the-scenes stuff. When the PR delves extensively into the production of a movie or perhaps one of the actors' performances, the film is generally considered for awards due to its theme rather than its entertainment value, and such is the case with Conclave. Now, most of the movie is a gripping thriller centered on the selection of a new pope. It has a cast that includes Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, and Isabella Rossellini. Viewers are easily compelled to keep watching this, even when the circumstances surrounding the new pope's selection become incomprehensible. The film's final reel serves no other purpose than to slap the Catholic Church with a social justice Tetris of its patriarchal hierarchy. This, the Libprogs revel in, and hence the movie's highly undeserved praise.
The Pope is dead. The throne is vacant.
The conclave begins now. We're about to choose the most famous man in the world.
And 1.25 billion souls watching.
I'd say this is a pretty fair vision of hell. Well, don't be blasphemous, Ray. Hell arrives tomorrow when we bring in the cardinals.
No sane man would want the papacy.
Some of our colleagues seem to want it.
Another cardinal has just turned up. He was never on our list.
He has to be an imposter.
You look anxious. Everything under control.
Where did you get this?
The Holy Father was spying on all of us.
You should be careful, Thomas.
Although we sisters are supposed to be invisible, God has nevertheless given us eyes and ears.
What did you discuss with the Holy Father in that final meeting?
The arrangements were made in Paris.
I shall pretend this conversation never took place.
But it has taken place. This is a conclave, it's not a war.
It is a war. And you have to commit to a side.
Why did the Holy Father, in his last official act as Pope, choose me to run this conclave?
The reasons would become clear soon enough.
Folks, much has been reported about the media shaping narratives via biased reporting. MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CNN, they all lumped into one category. You have Fox and you have Newsmax being lumped into another category. This same thing is happening in films and the film industry. The media is glowing, pardon my pun there, for a movie called I Saw the TV Glow. But the accolades for this film are bogus. The film is lame. Let's peel back those veils of time one more time and head back to the early Cretaceous and check in with Rex Rio.
I Saw the TV Glow is a haphazardly made film, serving no entertainment purpose. Its collection of anecdotes, mixed with the possible existence of a child's TV show dimension, is so malleable it lacks rationale.
Thank you, Rex. You know, to demonstrate my earlier criticism, allow me to go to Isaac Feldberg, who is associated with the RogerEbert.com site, and he claims this is a quote, by the way, that this movie is a defining film for the year and the decade. We're only 4 years into the decade. So this proves once again that ever since Roger Ebert's death, the talent level at the website has dropped considerably. Staggering, an outstanding film, claims Alyssa Wilkinson of the New York Times. This is proof that she's probably a quote whore. If you recall, I've explained in the past where quote whores are critics who are paid literally by the studios to give them lines, one or two quick lines that they can promote the movie with, and her line has appeared on a lot of the ads, so quote whore. But the best of the ridiculous agenda statements has to come from Richard Brody of The New Yorker, who wrote, this is the quote, "A profound vision of the trans experience." No, it isn't. Brody must have severe mental problems to see the trans agenda buried into this movie. I would think you don't want him anywhere near your family. Much praise is being heaped on writer-director of the movie Jane Schoenbrunn. This is a ploy to promote women in filmmaking. Once again, promoting the gender rather than the talent. Justice Smith and Bridget Lundy Payne try their best to elevate this movie to a watchable level, but the script just hinders their efforts. I Saw the TV Glow is billed as a horror film. It is not horror. It is horrible. Do not fall for this hype. You have been warned.
I know this might sound crazy. I don't want to alarm you. Do you remember a TV show we used to watch together? It was called
The Bigger Bay?
Yeah.
confess
Do you
it,
watch?
so they can die.
Each episode, they help each other fight a new monster from across the county. But it's way too scary for most kids.
If we're gonna defeat him this time, we're gonna need to harness the full potential of our shared powers.
Sometimes the pink opaque feels more real than real life.
Maddie, it was a TV show.
Are you sure that's all it was? I like girls, you know that, right?
Totally, that's fine.
What about you? Do you like girls?
I think that I like TV shows.
It's our destiny.
How can I have a destiny?
Something's wrong. This isn't how life is supposed to feel. Tell me you know it's true.
Maddie, it's just the suburbs.
Seems like you're always somewhere else lately.
Maddie disappeared without a trace. All they found was her TV set burning in the backyard. I told myself I made the right choice. What if I really was someone else? Very far away on the other side of a television screen.
I'd love to talk more movies with you, but they're going to have to wait until the next show. I will say this as a little add-in. The Critics' Choice Awards, Critics' Choice Association, I am a charter member of that, former BFCA. They were scheduled to have their Critics' Choice Awards on Sunday as we're taping this show, but the wildfires happening in LA have definitely postponed that. It's a bad situation out there. And many of the stars who were supposed to attend the ceremony and many of the critics who live out there have lost their homes and property and what have you. So it's been postponed until the 26th of January. Personally, I don't think that town's going to be ready by the 26th of January. It's really bad out there, and I think it's probably going to be delayed again at least until February. That's my opinion. But the cancellation and rescheduling have caused a bit of a controversy among members of the CCA. I mention this because I will address the entire issue on the next episode of the show. I think it'll be worthwhile to see what is going on there with the CCA. In the meantime, let me remind you that there's an awful lot going on in the NHL too, and you can tune in as Bob Nelson and I host In the Crease. We have a new episode coming up next week. Don't you miss it, especially if you love hockey. And now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.